What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde and Black for our everyday vibes. This episode is brought to you by AC Memento. AC Memento, your digital sports and concert scrapbook. Download Memento today by following the link in the show notes or on any of our social profile bios. This week, we recap Austin's regular season sweep of LAFC, look at potential first-round playoff matchups, and preview our Decision Day clash in San Jose before closing out the episode with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Paul Fletes.
And I'm Logan Bartlett.
And as always, we got some preheated takes coming your way, listener. Lobar, why don't you kick it off? I like this number that you've got here. You got two numbers, actually, but one of them...
Both round, both nice, both ambitious, right? I have that following this Saturday, or after this weekend, Austin will have hit 40 goals for and 50 points on the season.
Wow.
Now, I don't want to do math for everybody right now, but a lot of things have to happen for that to be.
That's right. We don't have to do the math right now, but listener, I just want to give you the numbers before that. Austin sits at 36 goals and 47 points. So you can do your own math in the car.
Nice and easy, bro.
There you go. More numbers coming your way in my preheated take, although this is cash money, big money, and this is Owen Wolff reaching a market value to exceed $4.75 million on Transfermarkt come December.
Ooh.
And then for those of you that don't follow Transfermarkt, it is not the most reliable source of transfer value, but it is a big source generally for folks that are keeping an eye on the transfer market in global footy. Yeah. And right now, Owen is sitting at $3 million at his value. And so...
Has that been trending up throughout the season? Is there can you see a trend since January?
I honestly was surprised to see that trend not keep going up in 2025. It looks like it's kind of stagnated. So I think there's a little bit of a delay there.
Yeah.
But that delay just means that it's absolutely going to only go up, number go burr kind of vibe.
Let me ask, why 4.75 mil? Is there a meaning to that number, or it's just ambitious? And it's
think in the spirit of those line setting games, shout out Moon Tower that has those every year, where you're kind of doing the over under. This is kind of my take on that, where it's definitely going to be 5 in my opinion, but there's a possibility where it's maybe just below that, but I'm trying to find that good number. So 4.75 mil at the minimum, but Owen's definitely been on fire this year, so that number should be nice and good for him and us. Anyway, let's go ahead. Speaking of the kid himself and his game winner, let's talk about that win for the first half here. And before we even talk about the game, I want to preface this because you and I were on this podcast early this season, and we were winning 4 games out of our first 6, and we were doing our best to kind of put aside all possible comparison to 2022. Yeah. And we can't pass this one up though, because the last time we did the double over LAFC was 3 years ago. That fateful season. And so, it's feeling good. But Lobar, you were there in person. So why don't you take us back to that Sunday night where Austin clinched their perfect record in the Sunday night soccer spot?
Well, first, bro, I missed you, man. I know you were having a good old time at ACL and following in your own way. But as the lineup came out and all the dominoes started to fall exactly how we called it, right? CJ and Djordjevic starting, which isn't not like that's a hot take or anything, but that happened, and all the little things throughout the game that happened. I was telling Meggie and her siblings and my future siblings and all the folks that's exactly what Paul and I said. So anyway,
bro, we just know ball on here. That's no biggie.
But I kept being I told you, that's what we said, to myself. So it was a validating game. I think we called it 1-0. I don't even remember if we actually did, but my vibe says we did.
I think we did, bro.
I'm going to take the win and say we did.
Yeah.
All in all, it was a good game, right? It was a little slow offensively for both sides. missing some firepower, or lots of firepower, and for LAFC,
100
and no Mirto for us, Diego, etc. Dudes that didn't get a chance to suit up
for sure.
And so, it was a slow game. The defense did their thing. We saw John Gallagher in the attack, which means we passed backwards a lot. There was a moment where he had a breakaway from a great pass from the midfield, maybe from Danny or Ilie or Dessler, I don't remember, from the back right. On the ground, worm burner down the field, and Galley's sprinting, and he gets it on his foot, and then just immediately he's like, "Oh, I don't have that speed anymore. Like, I gotta settle the ball, turn around, pass it off, get to my position." And I was like, 2022 Galley would have fucking taken that and just head down sprinting. So
yeah,
a good blast in the past to be like, "Oh, you almost had it, bud." But you're almost 30 now, so
he's saving it for the playoffs, bro. That's
exactly.
Fine.
That's exactly what it is. It was a good game, though. A little slow. LAFC created a few chances here and there, as you would expect. But Austin got it done, and obviously Owen Wolf, right, increasing that value game by game.
For sure. Yeah, I think for me, one little Google search would have been all it took last week's episode for us to also realize that there were some other national team call-ups that LAFC had. So I don't think they had Bogusz, or not Bogusz, because he's not even there anymore. But I was thinking like David Martinez was going to be out, but I think he pulled a Danny P and declined to go up. Because he was on the lineup there. But there were a couple other names that I was like, oh, like they're not playing with these guys, so we might actually be okay. But yeah, turns out David almost had a good little second half shot there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think this is an interesting game, particularly because one, it came at such a weird point in LAFC's streaks. They had a 6-game win streak that was extending from August, and an 11-game unbeaten road streak where they hadn't lost since April 5th.
That's crazy,
and so they've been on an absolute tear. And so for Austin to come up big at home, I think this felt really, really good in a way that maybe the scoreline wouldn't suggest, but I think for us to kind of be that immovable object that stops that immovable or that unstoppable force felt really good. But I'm kind of nervous, man. I like not getting ahead of ourselves right now, but just kind of feeling like we might have to do that 2-3 more times. And they're gonna have their Son and Denny partnership back. It's gonna be It's gonna be crazy, man. But I do want to close it out with just a highlight for Owen and for Brad. We got that elusive clean sheet, that 9th record, regular season, single season record. So that's a shout out to the defense. A shout out to those boys. But Owen, man, I think 6th goal of the season. I think, what was that, the 5th game-winning goal involvement?
Yeah, I think that was right. Yeah,
which is like a single season record for him. So I mean, the kid is just lighting it up, and you love to see it from a Jean corner kick connection.
Yeah, that was the best part about it.
It was like, oh my gosh, man, that celly was perfect.
Cut. Yeah.
Well, I think moving ahead, that kind of segues into our halftime potential playoff matchup chat. I had it here where I don't feel settled into that positive vibe, because it does immediately set us up for a strong possibility of rematching the black and gold. So it's giving win the battle, lose the war kind of vibes. But do you agree with this, or do you feel like we're just gonna do it all over again and beat them in playoffs?
I think it'd be hypocritical for me to say no, right? That I don't agree, because that was my qualifier last week when we were talking about this game. Like, yes, we want the win, but we're good. We're good in the playoffs. We made it. So like, do we take the draw? Do we try to, play some chess here to not face them in the playoffs?
Right.
I'm glad we won. I think that's what we should have done. And that's what we settled with anyway.
Yep.
But I don't know. Like it was never going to be a convincing win, right? We were never going to go out and put 3 on them.
True.
National team call-ups or not, right?
Yeah.
But especially given the lineup we had and the tactics we brought out, it was never going to be like this huge, convincing, momentum-shifting win. But it still has that kind of effect for the narrative of the club, right? Like there was a lot of talk the last week or so from Nico being like, "Oh, I don't understand this narrative of like, we're not earning our playoff spot because we've lost a few games, and we're not clinching that spot." It's like, no, we earned it throughout the work of our season, and he kept using that statement of like, we did our homework so that we could get here and make it to the
much deserved
final and not stress about it. And the other teams didn't, which is why they're stressing about it, And so I think this win is a good kind of cap into that discussion for Nico. Mm-hmm. He's like, see, we got the win we needed against a playoff foe, players down or not. We both were without players and both kind of coaching on the fly with the changes. So, shout out to him. He executed well and the team got the win. He made the right sub. You got to get Jean in at the end of a game if you want to sling in some crosses and corners. That's what you do. And then Owen Wolff made the great run to get the winner, right? So he did his job to set the guys up for success. They did their job to win the game and get that shutout. And so going back to your main question, this isn't like a huge momentum shifting win for me where I'm thinking like, oh, we're going to go in and if we do face LAFC, we're beating them in 2 away and home. We're on to the next round, right? Like we got this. But I think it's a good like resolve building victory for the team to be like, good, we got our guys back. We got Mirto back and everybody's healthy, barring Vasquez, of course. And we know we can beat this team. We've done it twice, full strength without, and with our backups in. Obviously, the asterisk to all that is now they have Son, so like it's a completely different team when he's on the field and experience. But I mean, we got 3 games to do it, in that first round if we do face LAFC, and I like our odds of getting at least one of those and making them work for it, and at that point, if it's 1-1 and we're going back to LA, and winner take all, like we're 100% the underdogs and the team has everything to play for. Just play their ass off. No games are guaranteed. And well, I think we can do something cool with it. So, but you have a list of other scenarios here beyond LAFC, right? So mathematically it does look like LAFC might drop for us, given the decision day matchups for the teams ahead of them. But why don't you take us through that stuff? Those scenarios.
Yeah. So looking at the table right now, San Diego is trying their absolute best to fight for the top seed in the West. Right now, they're sitting at second on 60 points. They match up against Portland on decision day. And since they have clinched the 7th seed, they're chilling. So it feels like they are probably going to win that game against Portland. And
let me add a discussion there, because is it for sure that they clinched the 7th seed? Because just looking at the standings, I haven't looked up like any news, but looking at the standings, it looks like there's a scenario where they could drop to 8th. If they lose, Dallas wins, they're tied on points. They'll be tied on wins. They'll have the exact same record.
Sure.
And Dallas has more goals, but lower goal differential. But depending on how the games end out, like Dallas might have the higher goal differential and they already have more goal, so there might be, I don't know. I don't know if it's certain that they had the 7th seed. I only say
That's
that
fair.
Because Portland still might have something to play for to guarantee the 7th seed, not have that play in, and want to go out and take this game.
That's valid. Yeah. If that's the case, then looking at San Diego's form, I should say, because Austin FC split that series. We beat them at Q2. We lost away at Snapdragon. So depending on where that final result against Portland falls for them, they could, go anywhere from the 2nd to the 4th seed. I think Vancouver just needs 1 point against Dallas to secure the top seed in the West. Yeah, and Vancouver is just on a fucking roll, man. So I'm reminded that at the end of all of this, like there's a game against them. And I almost kind of like, you know what? It's not even worth it right now. But anyway, so there's San Diego. And right now they are the coldest of the 3 teams over the last 7 weeks. They are 3-2-2. 3 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws. Then there's Minnesota, currently 4th seed. They're on 58 points, and they match up against Galaxy on decision day. And again, they have long since been eliminated from playoff contention, so they could play spoiler here. They had some fun. And who did they just beat last weekend? Was that Houston?
I believe so.
Something like that. Yeah. So yeah, they can still show up and beat teams if they wanted to. And granted, we did beat them in the Open Cup, and they are 4 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws in their last 7. So, they're on a little bit of lesser form than LAFC, but a little bit hotter than San Diego. I still think any of these are exactly like what we talked about last week, man. It's going to be a poison that we ultimately end up picking, but
yeah. Correction to that point, LA Galaxy played a home and away against FC Dallas, and they took one of the games from them. So that was a big, that was a spoiler scenario, right? Like if Dallas wins that game, they're potentially tied with us right now at 44. Or I'm sorry, tied with Portland at 44. And it's a different story. So they played spoiler to a team that's competing still, so they might do it again just for fun. Little Diego Fagundez free kick and goofery, just goofing around.
For sure. Yeah. Maya Yoshida header. Do it, brother.
Right. The point of this is there's a few scenarios here, right? Like if you just look at the table now, if all teams win out, all teams lose, they all have the same result. We're playing LAFC, right? So
exactly,
most likely there, but the points could fall in weird ways because it's decision day. Yeah. And just having watched this league for as long as I have with Austin, the table is going to change after this weekend. You can assume. So we could prepare for LAFC, and all of a sudden we're back at San Diego where we got stomped. But they're not. They're the worst home team of the 3 in terms of record.
For sure.
Not against us. They're good against us at home.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, I feel that, man. Well, always interesting conversations to be had when it comes to this time of the year. But I think I don't know. You put in Austin FC killer Denny Bouanga in there, and a hot Human Song and that LAFC team. I totally forgot when I saw their bench coming off. You got Yaya Boa coming off. Yep. You've got Frankie Amaya. You've got Raposo. Yeah, bro. I'm just like, it's not fair.
I totally.
But it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. If we lose that first game against LAFC in LA, there's going to be a pretty heavy resale market for that home game, knowing that Son will be here. People are going to be like, oh, man, if we get wrecked in game 1 and people don't believe, people are going to start selling some tickets, bro. $180 a pop, $200 a pop. Playoff game against Son. Yeah.
I'm holding on to that, man, because
I'm going to see it. It's playoff game. It's the only playoff game we get guaranteed. So
For sure. Well, yeah, man. Well, I think with that said, it's just an interesting scenario that we put ourselves in always every year. At decision day. But before we move on to our final clash against San Jose, we are going to take a quick break and then come back and chat a little bit more. With the 6 seed lockup, this match is screaming rotation against San Jose and rest as Nico's boys prepare for their first round playoff best of 3 series. MLS writer Joe Lowry, for those of you that follow Backheeled also, big name there, his decision day write-up says San Jose's matchup against us is the easiest matchup of the weekend. Low-key rude, but, it is what it is, man. With that in mind, Lobar, I have a question for you. Who are you starting, in your 11 against San Jose on decision day?
This might be a less favorable take to some, but I think you put out your best 11 and you go get the win. I think we're only a couple weeks removed from the Open Cup loss in the final. We've only seen one positive game since then, since that week in this past weekend's game, and that was with a lot of the rotation guys in,
Right.
not Mirto, and Bito and all the other guys that we should normally see.
Yeah.
And so I think you go out, you put your best 11 out, you go and try to win this game like it's a playoff game, because it does still matter, right? Not in terms of the table, but just for momentum as we go into the playoffs.
Sure.
I think, as we talked about in that first and halftime conversation, is like no games are guaranteed after this point, right? You get round one and that's it. So why rest today, or this game, when you might only have 2 games after that anyway, right?
Sure.
There's no long run to rest for if you don't make it anyway. So you might as well play your best 11, get the guys some reps, get Mirto a goal, get Bukhari involved offensively, because we didn't even talk about that. Bro was completely left out of the game plan last weekend. They didn't want to
I
give
did
him
feel
the
that
ball
way.
at all. We were just sitting there watching him stand on the right sideline, just waving his arms while they played tiki-taka on the left side of the field. And so you want to get him some run. You want to get Mirto some chances. You want to get them feeling good, getting chances on goal, ideally bagging some goals and assists so that they have that momentum. Mirto's last involvement for Austin was missing a penalty in an Open Cup final, right? Like, he hasn't really done much for us since then, or hasn't been playing because he was on.
Well, he also scored in that
he
Open
did.
Cup final too.
But still,
after
after all is said and done, that miss lost us the final, right? So that's like weighing on his conscience, even if he scored. Right?
Yeah.
So you want to do something to keep that upward momentum for the vibes and for the playoff run that we only have 2 games guaranteed for. So I think you play your best 11 and let them duke it out. What do you think?
Son of a bitch, you're right. You've convinced me. I mean, as soon as I heard you say, like, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what you said, but
there's only 3 games left in the season.
Right. I guess,
Unless
that's what I'm trying
them.
to get at, is that energy of like, hey, it's now or never, now, and like, you just got to keep going, and these guys are consummate professionals, and I think it's worth it, man. I do think, I will probably end up saying that, like, I think CJ could start again,
Okay.
I could see something like that. But yeah, I think I'm with you now in terms of like starting your best 11.
If we do see some rotation, I'd like them to play as if it's the starting 11 tactically, right? Like, we see such a shift when we rotate heavy and we have guys like CJ start.
Yeah.
We don't play the same game plan offensively, or at least, an alternate version of it where we're less. We try to play this counter game that sometimes works, and then we kind of decommit to it, and we're not pressing as much as we normally would be. And if we're going to see guys like CJ start and others, like, let's have them play the game plan that they'll be playing in the playoffs, right?
Sure.
Because I mean, the reps are good, right? I'm never going to argue against having the young guys play, but like, CJ's been most effective, and a lot of our attackers that have come off have been most effective when we're down and we need a goal, or it's a tie game and we need to win, right?
Yeah.
And it's a completely offensive heavy game plan, and they're in there just to fight for headers, or create chances and sling balls in through Robert Taylor or Obrion or something. So I'd like to see the guys get like legitimate play as if it's a game that matters, and not just a heavily rotated game where we're going to cede possession and get 2 shots the whole game, and it's just kind of glorified jogging practice. So that's my only caveat to that, right? If we see rotation, if we see these other guys start, like, have them play like it's the playoff game plan, because if they're going to get minutes in the playoffs, they're going to be playing that game plan, not this bunker and just kind of jog around for 65 minutes until you get subbed off plan that we've seen consistently the last couple months.
For sure.
So that's my only request there, right? We see these other guys play, have them play the Austin FC way, not this like secondary B team way that we've been seeing. Have him play Mirto's role, like, let's make them play the role they're going to play in the game that matters in a week,
Yeah.
So
touche, friend, touche. I'll say this. I feel like if San Jose scores on us first, we're just absolutely resting and relaxing, and we're paying it no mind. If we score first though, we're absolutely trying to stomp on them with our best 11.
Waterfall, yeah.
And yeah,
bro, we're scoring 4 goals this game. I already said it. So
I mean that leads into the predictions. So you have us scoring 4 goals, eh?
Yep, because that's what I said at the start of the episode. So I'm doubling down.
That is
I have us scoring
crazy.
4, and let's see score wise. Let me find another fun number for goals allowed on the year.
I mean, you realize we've only scored 4 goals one time this season.
Hey man, until we score it for the second time, So like, I don't know. You want me to do with that information?
Oh, okay.
Either way.
I love it, dude. I'm
trying to go back. Google's goofing on me right now. I was trying to see what our least amount of goals allowed was, and just make sure that however many goals San Jose scores is below that. So I'm gonna go 4-2. We're gonna end with 50 goals scored, 45 goals allowed. 40 goals scored, 45 goals allowed, 50 points, because that's a fun increment of 5. So 4-2 win, Austin, and we crush San Jose's playoff dreams.
I love it, man. I definitely think it's going to be closer to like a 2-1 loss.
Boo. Boo. Boo this man.
Yeah, well, hey man, I'm just telling you, I don't feel good about it. These matchups are always chaos, but
save that energy for the Chelsea games, because they're going to win, so you can be kind of woe is me until they win, and then be got to be happy now, or you're just sad the whole time. When you go with sad expectations, and then they just meet those sad expectations, you're just
brother.
Sad the whole time.
You know me, and you know how I fan.
I know. So save the woe is me sad when we lose stuff for Chelsea when they're going to win 3-0. Let's go all in now, so we're happy.
Fine, bro. 4-1.
Yay!
On the road.
Everybody cheers. There we go.
Jesus, man, they're laughing at us both because
they
know that this team is not going to be capable of scoring 4 goals on the road like that.
If they do, dinner's on you. Fucking
right. Yeah. Everyone's beers at Q2, yada yada. Right? Yeah.
I get free food and drinks for the whole playoffs, if I'm right.
There you go. Hey, deal, dude. I got you.
It's 2 games. Anyway.
And then speaking of this game, LV is throwing a watch party, and we wanted to make sure that we plugged that for the last one of the season.
Good job.
And they will be having that at Hop Squad Brewing, which is off Kramer Lane. And it looks like they are starting at 6:30 p.m., although the kickoff is set for 8 p.m. So if you want to get there a little bit early, get a good spot. They do have their indoor TVs set up. They're going to have the outdoor screen as well, I believe. They've got Yucatan Tacos and More food truck out there, $5 beers. Merg is going to be out there doing their thing, family-friendly, dog-friendly. You got free parking in the lot next door. Yep. So it probably is going to be the spot to get the community that's not traveling for the game in one spot, and just getting ready and practicing for the big dance and the playoffs. So
for sure. Speaking of traveling,
go ahead.
Go to the watch party. But speaking of traveling, do you think you'll travel for the playoffs? Like if we make LA or San Diego, like do you have the flexibility to swing a random 2-day trip for the playoffs?
I did it the first time, but I'll have to see where we're at. I know how this goes. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about
about 6 seconds ago? Yeah, I thought about it.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'll tell you what, man. If you do it, I'll do it. It's that easy.
The shitty part about this is I'll actually be in a wedding in 2 weeks, which is the weekend of game 1, which is the away game that's guaranteed. So no matter what, I'll be in Columbus, Ohio. So I can't go to that game.
Boo this man.
Let's say that if we lose game 1, we win game 2, and we're going back the weekend following, that first weekend of November, I'm there. Especially if it's San Diego. But then if it's San Diego, I got a
little game 3 vibe, a must win.
Exactly.
Ooh,
because I literally can't go to game 1. So yeah, that's my only choice.
I hear that.
Yeah. Yep. That's
Well,
it for me.
well, dang, dude. Yeah, I'll see what the funds look like.
Yeah, that's part of it too, for real.
Because that was the
Case
other
the
thing, man.
points.
I just remember closing my eyes and swiping
Yeah.
when those tickets came out. But you know,
Accept.
it is what it is, brother. Anyway, let's get into some stoppage. Yeah,
Let's do it.
awesome. Friendly reminder: we are not using generative AI during any parts of this podcast. Although MLS is trying to explore that to write their articles now. That is the first point there.
Yeah.
What is that about?
That shit's pretty lame. So we've obviously seen a lot of this the last couple of days from Tom Bogert and Andrew Wiebe and all the other guys in MLS and around MLS who cover the sport and cover the league. And it's unfortunate, man. I mean, like, I'm not anti-AI, right, in the workplace. Like, I get that it's useful
Sure.
and it can be used to be efficient sometimes. But you've seen some of the things that people have shared of like the Austin FC game recap and Austin FC playoff preview and shit like that AI is generated, and it's just false. It's not right. It's very surface level information. What was it?
Sure.
They had like they called our supporters group the fucking 2202 or some shit like that because it's
something like that.
Address
was
of
that
Q2.
the address?
That's
I think
not even the address. Q2. Whoever, I forgot who tweeted that, but one of our supporters did. Shout out to you. That shit was funny, right? So it's going to create lesser content. It takes jobs from working journalists who love the sport and have passion. And if the sport is anything, and the fan base for this sport is anything, it's passion. So taking that away from the league that I'd already clowned for being Americanized,
right,
compared to other leagues, like it's just kind of further insult to injury. So I think it's pretty whack. What do you think?
Heard that, man. Heard that. Yeah. +1 to all that. I know from what I saw, it looks like Tom Bogert also followed up and said, like, hey, it looks like they're just trying this out, but they do have a link where if you want to share feedback, you absolutely can. And I recommend if you feel this type of way, you follow that link. And if we have the bandwidth to share that on the show notes, we'll make sure to do that as well.
Yeah,
so that way
we can share it on Twitter too.
Yeah, we'll do that. But yeah, that's just one of those things, man, where it's always going to try to permeate where it can, but wherever we can keep the human element and, like you were saying, the passion present, we should always do that. Moving on to the next point, though, someone's passion is wrapping up here. Brad Guzan is set to retire at the end of this season. Following a long career at Atlanta United.
Yeah. It seemed like every year he retired because I don't watch the Eastern Conference really,
right.
I follow very surface level. So every year I'd be like, oh shit, Brad Guzan's still playing.
Right.
And here we are approaching 2026 and he's still playing.
Yeah.
So, shout out the man. I think he had like upwards of 60 appearances for the U.S. national team too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's definitely a good product of the league. So
for sure, I'll never forget that playoff upset against Miami, where dude just stood on his head, and
good shot.
It was like, oh man, that dude is legit. And then Brandon Vasquez scored a nice free kick on him.
Yes, he did.
So that was really cool.
Good for us.
But yeah, that was congratulations to retirement, Brad Guzan.
Yeah,
you will no longer get clowned. Yeah, it'll be good, man. Looking abroad, we have Cape Verde qualifying for the World Cup for their first time. It is the second smallest nation rather to ever qualify. Lobar.
Yeah, which is crazy. I think I read that they have like a population of 560,000. Which is half the size of Austin. So like a nation with 550,000 people just qualified for the World Cup. And if we weren't hosting it, we probably wouldn't have. So that's what's up. That puts it in perspective. They don't have Tomas Pochettino coaching them with, fucking Christian Pulisic leading the line. Whoever they do have, shout out to them. I'm sure I'll get familiarized with them when the games start picking up and we see the action live.
For sure.
But yeah, that's pretty dope. It's a cool story, man. It's a cool story.
Always. Yeah. And looking back locally here, we've got Brad Stuver and Austin FC setting a new clean sheet record with 9 following the win against LAFC.
Yep.
Gotta love
Yeah,
it.
we mentioned in the first half, but it's just we got to call it out again because it's record setting for this club, right? We're still young enough that we should celebrate momentous moments like setting a clean sheet record, having our best defense that's carried us to the playoffs for only the second time in our short existence, right? So like
Yep.
it deserves recognition, and it just kind of adds to that storyline that Brad Stuver's had this year of like, the culmination of the last 5 years and the saves record and all-star appearance and potential goalkeeper of the year nomination, right? This just adds to that further record-setting season for him. So shout out the boys.
Shout out the boys. And shout out the girls too over in San Diego because the Wave got a much-needed 3-2 win against Utah Royals. They move into 6th place comfortably in the table now. They will be doing just fine heading into their final regular season matchup.
Yep.
Whereas Houston, we've got a problem falling 2-0 at Angel City. And yeah. We always knew it was going to be like this, bro. We always knew it was going to be like this.
Feels good. I feel for you, bro, because I know it's a struggle down there in the Bayou City. I know shit's not that sweet, and I know that you're down bad. So all love to you, man. I'll see you after the playoffs. I'm gonna be watching.
I do want to say a special shout out to my boy Jacob Cervantes, who was actually he drove up from Houston to catch the Austin LAFC game over the weekend. And a very important part of that trip was delivering a
bobblehead.
Yeah, a Jane Campbell bobblehead to my apartment. So I want to say shout out, Jacob. Thank you so much for that.
I meant to mention it in the first half, and I appreciate you bringing it up because after the game, I was looking for my dad, right? And so I went by the Dos Equis bar, and like the crowd was thinning, so we were just kind of standing there hanging out. Yeah. And Jacob just walks up and he's like, "Bro, I found you." He's like, "I've been looking for you," and he just like found me in the corner of the stadium, and we chatted it up for 20 minutes, just hanging out. So shout out Jacob. He told me the fable of driving out and dropping off the bobblehead on your doorstep, taking a picture like it's Amazon.
Right.
So that shit's funny, bro. Yeah. Shout out to him. I feel for him too, truthfully. His team, his city's down bad in soccer this year. So, big ups to you for supporting a good team like Austin FC, just in case, or, for when Houston lets you down.
Right. So. Hell yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And as always, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Paul Fletes, and you can find me online at Paul and FC, government name.
And I'm Logan Bartlett. Catch me on Twitter at Lobar VHLM.
And as per usual, keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And that's an episode, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, why are you screaming at me?
Oh my God.